Okay. So, what do you guys think about the video?
Okay, I have to honestly say I started laughing at first.
Why? What did you think was so funny?
It was just like, it was just kind of goofy just to listen to, you know, probably problems that, I don't know if other people have those problems with their teenagers, but I'm sure all of us will at one point. Or anyways, it was just kind of funny to see how he was dealing with it and how he related to each of the people in the family. But I mean, by the time it was over, I felt like it was really informative.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that he, got each of them to talk and talk about how they were, how they really were feeling. But anyways.
For me, I'm not married, so I kind of,
yeah.
So it's different, but I have been like in therapy before, but it was interesting to like see how the family like interacted and how at the beginning the son was kind of off in the corner and he kind of seemed like aloof and didn't care about the conversation going on until he started, getting him involved, and then he switched up who sat where, and then it kind of got more of the family involved instead of him being like, I don't care about this conversation. What am I doing here?
Yeah. Their body language at the beginning was, you could just tell, and he's like trying to break the ice with, what do you like to do and that kind of thing. And you could just tell their body language was saying, like, I can't believe we're here. I can't believe we're doing this,
Yeah, and I agree because, like the whole time that I was sitting there and at the beginning, before the therapist had them switch, like the daughter and the father, you know how he kept saying, oh yeah, his mom, instead of my wife? And I'm like.
That kind of bothered me, yeah.
Yeah, is he mad that he's there or what's going on, Like, I'm just like. I think he was bothered by the fact that they were there or something, even though I didn't really show it. But like, yeah, just the fact that he kept saying his mom, and I'm like, dude, it's your wife. Why can't you say it's my wife?
Yeah,
that kind of bothered me. I don't know why.
No,
I feel like I missed something, ladies. Did you watch Zach's story on YouTube? Is that what you were?
No, we were talking about the family therapy session. That's what we were talking about. Is that what we're supposed to talk about? Or are we supposed to talk about Zach's story?
We're supposed to talk about the therapy session.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Jen, there was like a video we were supposed to watch. It was like almost like an hour long about a family who went to get therapy done. And I don't know if you saw it. Maybe, I know it was confusing. A lot of people thought it had to do with the Zach story, but it was actually this other video that we were supposed to watch.
Okay. You know what? I didn't see that, so I should probably drop the call then, because I watched Zach's story, which was like a half hour, or I don't know, maybe a half hour. And then I watched the second part of that, which was a year later. And then I read
chapter 6, right?
Yeah, that said 105 minutes. And then I read something after that talked about the kids that suffer, like when they have a sibling that's sick.
Okay, so that's the same. We did all that. And then there was just one other, I think you're fine, because there's just one other, it's like a family therapy session. It's about 50 minutes.
Okay.
I think you should be okay. If you've read all of that, that's what we're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I did read all that. I don't want to take advantage, but I don't know how I missed that. So I'll have to go back and look. Okay.
You're fine. Even the side thing is due tomorrow, though, for sure. I think you're supposed to be posting your thoughts on the discussion board for the Zach story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it's like case study number 4, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and that has to do with the Zach story.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we supposed to do with our conversation, like our thing here? What we're supposed to talk about, I think we're supposed to talk about how we the reading goes along with like the family in the therapy session. Is that right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I just pulled it up. I pulled up the simulated family therapy session instructions,
Oh, perfect.
and it
Yeah.
tells you exactly what you're supposed to talk about and how you're supposed to put everything up on the turn it in at the end.
Okay. So why don't you go through the I can't pull up too many things on my computer at once or it crashes because it's little. But why don't you go through the questions that or the bullet points that are on there on what we're supposed to do?
Okay. It says take turns talking about the points you identified, both the overt references and more subtle ones. That's the first one.
Okay. So I'm trying to think what else I thought about in our reading.
In the reading, I don't know if you guys, I didn't really went through the whole reading thing. I mean, it was like 40 pages long, and I was just exhausted by the end of the night. But I do like at the very beginning of the reading, there's like a key process in family resilience. And it's like talking about like making meaning of adversity and like a positive look, and like it gives you all these little bullet points, like,
Yeah.
you know, that tell you, and you know, like you said at the beginning, none of them were really opening up to their like what was bothering them. You know, like the therapist had to get it out, you know, out of them like little by little, and at the end, finally, like the communication was open and stuff, and you know, because the only one that was really opening up was the mom. So
Right.
it kind of looked like she was the only one that really wanted to be there and that was interested in what's going on with her son, you know. So I kind of liked it how, even though it took him a little bit, like for the therapist for each of them to open up, he eventually got them all to open up in the end and like communicate what really was bothering them, you know. And so I kind of like that.
Yeah, the bullet points that they talk about are how, and I noticed that the therapist went right along these same lines where he started out with their, okay, like the first one is talking about their belief system and how he got them, you know, how he got them engaged and stuff. And then the second part is the organizational patterns, and he talked about flexibility and connecting. And that's exactly what the therapist did. He was like, so what do you like to do, and when do you like to do this? And you know, they talked about families and what they used to like to do as a family, but they don't go camping anymore. You know, it kind of broke the ice a little. And then the next one was the communications process. So I think they kind of touched on that by the end, but I'm sure they probably need, like every family probably needs a lot more help with that. I mean, with the communication process. I know my family does, but anyways.
Yeah.
So that was like the first part of the reading. And then it kind of went into like the coping and adaptation, and I felt like the rest of the reading kind of went along the lines of all the other things that we've been reading.
Yeah.
It just reiterated all the other theories and all the things about having crises and what we make of it and how we deal.
Are we talking about the reading that spoke about bereavement and even like how the children that are like siblings to those that are sick? Are we talking about these articles, or am I still off track here?
What I was reading was the chapter 6.
Okay,
but that's what I was talking about. I just kind of gave what I felt, what it was about. I mean, there's like a whole thing about somebody like losing their dog, or I can't remember. Where is that?
Yeah, there's a couple different little stories in the reading.
Yeah. But I think it has to do with like even that Zach story. There's stuff on here when it talks about when family has distress and how they can they cope? And then also with the case study number 4, I don't know if this has to do with what we're doing, if we're supposed to talk about it or not, but it talks about how you feel about the other members of the family from the Zach story, where they talked a lot about the one Lindsay, I think was her name. Maybe I'm wrong. The sister that's like 14, that's the basketball player. And they didn't really. I think one of the questions was I was reading this earlier, is how would you have I'm probably screwing it up, but basically how do you think all the rest of the family members are dealing with this, because they really only focused on like the girlfriend and the one sister that is the basketball player and the mom and dad. And it's like, I don't know, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, well, maybe, some people communicate in different ways. I have kids that way, that communicate in different ways, and some are really closed up and some aren't. I have a 19-year-old that just will explode on me and tell me everything, and then I have other kids that are tight as a drum and won't tell me a dang thing. So I think everybody deals, of course, with stress differently, but I don't know.
You know what I thought was really insightful was it wasn't part of the assignment, but after Zach's story closed up on YouTube, they did a year later, and they interviewed all of the siblings.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, and that was really informative, because they talked about how they've dealt with it, and every single one of the siblings and the parents and the best friend were also interviewed, and the friend she said she was feeling great and had complete closure. But I think because Zach was able to give his testimonial, I guess, about his love for each of the relationships focused on, I think that was really healthy and positive for all of his siblings.
Yeah.
But they were, I don't know, they just seemed to deal with it. I mean, his mom was outstanding. I couldn't believe how well adjusted she was under the circumstances.
I want to go back and watch that, because I honestly was bawling my head off watching that YouTube video. I'm like, this is terrible.
Well, the second one won't help you.
Oh, great.
Your heart too. I was a mess.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna go back and watch it because I'm curious. Like, I have time, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so I think the other thing, how many pages was this that we actually read?
The
40 something? Yeah, that's like 40 something, or a little less than.
Yeah, that's why I said by the time the night was coming, I was exhausted. I literally, I think I only went up to like 30 pages, and then afterwards, like, I started just skimming through.
Yeah, because I feel like the last part of the chapter I didn't internalize very well.
Yeah.
Because then it goes about talking about well, they talk about, where is it? There's so many aspects. Well, I feel like, though, in this therapy session, they talked about this, for instance, using respectful language and like their language, and he brought that up in their therapy session. He's like, so you obviously don't like it when people are yelling at each other. And I can't remember, was it the daughter that was like, I hate it, or the son was like, I feel like I have a second mother.
Yeah, with his sister.
What do you call his sister? His second mother.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like this chapter 6, if you want, Jen, I think it is, when you go back and watch this therapy session, it's funny how if you go through the chapter, he really like used every single thing.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how he all these little bullet points and bold writing, it's like he used a little bit of everything in it. Okay. I don't know what else we could talk about, because what do you guys think?
Well, I could pull up one of the next bullet points.
Yeah, let's go to the next bullet point. That sounds good.
So the next one is note the trends of your findings as a group. Did everyone identify the same points, or were there points that not everyone caught?
Okay. Oh, is somebody writing all this down?
No.
Is somebody being a scribe?
I'm writing down kind of quickish notes. I guess I could be the one to do it.
Okay.
You can
right.
always go back, and if you miss anything, you could always, that's why, I think that's why the main reason we're supposed to report is like, so we can go back and check. And
Okay.
see the news,
Yeah.
Okay,
So
perfect.
don't stress over trying to keep up. If you do miss stuff, like, you can always come back. I'll send you the link, obviously, because I'm the one recording it, so.
Okay. So the question was, say that question one more time.
Okay.
What are the...
Did everyone identify the same points, or were there points that not everyone caught?
Okay.
Like, I didn't even look at the Zach thing because I thought all of this was just to do the therapy video and not the Zach thing, so I didn't even look at that. So, and
I think you're right.
Like, I read half of chapter 6 and then kind of skimmed through the end of it.
Yeah,
Right.
same with me.
Like 3/4 of it skimmed. But what I just kept, I think, noticing, especially like in the beginning and as it kind of progressed, which is the communication, like how, like the mom kept talking a lot about how she felt and how he wasn't like, how her son wasn't really, didn't talk to her about anything. Like, you're worried about where he goes at night, if he's doing something dangerous, if he's doing something stupid, something illegal, she doesn't know because you won't talk to her. And so it just kept making me think about communication. Like, if you don't have that, your child won't trust you. You can't trust them. And then you can get into an argument or a fight. And that kind of sounds like my family, just because it just made me think of my older brother when he was younger. He had friends that were kind of bad influences. And so he picked up on it, but he didn't tell his parents, didn't tell us. And it threw our family into basically a hole, and it didn't change till he decided to go on his mission, because that kind of straightened out his life, figured out what I need to do with my life, how to get better. But it just made me think about communication. You don't have it, you can't communicate with your family, and your family just kind of yells at each other because they can't get the answer they want.
Yeah, it's totally true. We have that problem every day in my house. Some days are better than others, but I think, like my husband always says to me, he's like, I can't read your mind. You have to tell me. And so, it's just little things, but then sometimes it ends up becoming a big, ugly mess. And then he also said in that therapy session, he said, I might have these friends, but I'm not doing anything bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how it all starts, right?
Right.
Like, even if you're just hanging out with bad people and not doing bad stuff yourself, sooner or later you're gonna fall into that same little circle they're doing. And so, I don't know, it just kind of got me mad that he was like, I'm 18, I should get to do whatever I want. I'm like, but you're not even in college, and you're not working, so how is that giving you the privilege to do whatever you want just because you're 18? And you still live with your parents, So, like, I don't know. I'm like, I was married before, so I was like, I moved out and stuff. And so, like, I know what it's like to have, like, like your own rules and, do what you want and stuff. But I'm living with my parents again, and, like, going through a divorce and stuff. And, I still have to follow the rules. I mean, obviously, they're not, like, stomping their foot down or whatever, putting their foot down on, like, really hard on me anymore because I'm 27.
Right.
But, I still let my parents know where I'm at. Like, I'm not going to be dumb and just, like, be out at 3 in the morning. And if something happens to me and they don't know where I'm at, how are they going to know where to look for me,
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just little things like that. I think it's important to get some kind of communication going on with your parents, just so they're not worried, even if you are 18, So
yeah,
I think that sounds really ignorant and disrespectful if that was the way that he reacted. I remember I stayed at home until I mean, I wasn't home the whole time, but I did go on a mission at 21,
Mhm.
and I was 21 years old, and my parents had asked me not a trip with girlfriends to Vegas, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't ask any questions like why not, or there was no disrespect whatsoever. It was like, I'm living at home, you don't think I should go? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think it's we talk about this a lot in we had a stake young women's meeting recently, and it's like the era of children that are being raised at this time sometimes have like this entitlement issue where
right, I agree
they
with
feel
that.
like everything is they deserve everything no matter what, like it's supposed to be theirs all the time, they don't have to work for it, kind of thing. And as a parent, it terrifies me that I am raising my children that way, and so we're constantly trying to make them work for things and not just give them it all at once. But that's kind of it's a touchy subject when you have a teenager that has friends that has everything.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's tough. So, and I think we're in a group, we're of course all women, but it kind of seems like we're all in different stages of our lives. And so it's kind of interesting to, see how everybody else feels.
Mhm.
But I don't know. What time is it? We're supposed to be done in about 15
20
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
how many bullet points do we have? We've done 2, right?
So there's 2
Huh?
more.
Oh, there's 2 more. Okay, perfect. Let's do the next 2.
Okay, so the next one is talk about your observation. Was anyone surprised by the findings or the observations?
Can you say that one again? I'm sorry, that broke up a bit for me again.
Okay, so it says talk about your observations. Was anyone surprised by the findings or observations?
Okay, so findings from what we read and what we watched, I'm assuming?
Probably.
Okay. I wasn't really surprised. I don't know. It kind of seemed par for core, I guess. Anybody else?
For me, because I've had to talk to someone about problems and issues, so I've kind of been in therapy, but and it kind of at the beginning, like if you're going through like your first session, you kind of don't want to talk, you're kind of aloof, you kind of feel like you don't want to be there, you kind of feel like you're disconnected. Or it took me a while anyway. And that's kind of what the son went through. He's like, I don't want to be here. But as you kind of progress through your meeting, and you get farther along, he opened up more. He was telling his parents what he was feeling, and how they reacted to him. And, how that's kind of what I did. I opened up more. I got used to talking. I talked about my feelings. I talked about what I felt. I didn't have to keep it like bottled up in a way. And so that was I guess, surprising. It was something more interesting to learn that in the beginning, you kind of act scared and aloof. But as you get through it, you seem to open up more. You get more comfortable and you're not afraid.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about school. Every time a semester starts, I freak out, and then I go, okay, this isn't so bad. I can do this.
Right.
I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one that does that.
Right.
And I constantly watch, how many times, if I get rid of this class, maybe this will lighten my load a little, and no, I can do it. And then I have a good week, and I'm like, I can do this. And then I have a bad week, and I'm like, I can't do this.
Right.
How many classes are you taking?
This semester I only have 2.
Okay.
That's my max, I've decided. I've got too much else going on. I have
Yeah,
8 years, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have 6 years. I have 6 more years, and then I have to be done. So we'll see how that goes.
I don't know why. I feel like I'm the one rushing to get through, just to get through school, because I'm taking 5 classes right now.
Are you really? That's
5
good.
classes?
Yeah, 5.
Wow. That's amazing.
And
I
I
can't
signed
believe
up
it.
for 5 for next semester.
Wow, you're going to get done quick.
I'm hoping.
I
'cause,
took 3
mean,
one semester.
shouldn't be saying this, but I feel so old being in school still. Like, I don't know. Like, I know I'm being dumb because you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, whatever, you know, because like you guys are married and you have kids and stuff. But I don't know. I really feel like at my age, I should have already been done and, you know, going on to grad school. And I don't know. It's just weird. Whatever.
No, I'm 41. You're not old. I'm old.
I did want to say one thing that did kind of surprise me in the therapy session is that at the beginning, the Jimmy, the son was like, oh, you know, like I said, I'm 18, I could do whatever I want. I should be able to do whatever I want. And then towards the end of the session, he's changed that, and he said that the reason that he would just go out and about and not even tell anybody was because he was like, something about that he's hurt and like all this stuff. Like, I don't know, like.
I think didn't he say that like he didn't think anyone cared or something like that?
Yeah. That's exactly what he said. You're true. That nobody cared about him anymore, or that his parents didn't even care about him anymore. So that's why he didn't even bother to tell him that he was staying out all these late hours and stuff. So I just thought that, yeah, it kind of did surprise me that he would have said that, because at first he was like, oh, whatever, I'm 18, you know, like hardcore kind of person, and then like all of a sudden he changed that around. So I'm just like, oh, okay, like. You know, that was a little surprising for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you
maybe a
could.
defense mechanism to start with. And then
Yeah.
he changes his story once the therapy goes on and his heart softened a little bit.
Yeah, and he can.
Yeah.
And he feels a little more comfortable being a little more vulnerable, probably.
Sure.
Yeah.
That seemed response.
Okay. What's our last bullet point?
Okay. Discuss and record how a treatment professional or paraprofessional might prepare to capitalize on such opportunities to introduce, or reinforce the types of resilient factors from Walsh's article.
Mm.
Mm.
So that was a longer one.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're supposed to talk about, say that one more time. I think I need it one more time.
Discuss and record how a treatment professional or a paraprofessional might prepare to capitalize on such opportunities to introduce or reinforce the types of resilience factors from Walsh's article.
Oh, Welsh's article.
Resilience factors from Walsh's article. Okay.
Let's see.
One.
Is he talking about in is that in chapter 6 or no? Was that what we read before? Like another week before?
So are we looking for things like already the family belief system is part of how come certain families are more resilient than others?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that where this question's going?
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So more families I think are more resilient than others, because I feel like sometimes some kids are, or some people are just born a certain way. They're able to cope easier, you know?
Right.
I really do feel like, I mean, I have a lot of kids, and I feel like each of them are so different yet similar. And here's another situation. I grew up in a family that is not anything like the family that I'm raising. And yet I see habits and behaviors in my children that I had when I was a kid, and I always blamed it on my crazy family growing up. But yet I'm like, that's not the case. You know what I mean? They are growing up in a totally different situation, yet they still have those tendencies or behaviors, or I don't know. Anyways, I don't even know if that has anything to do with it, but I feel like I do feel like some people are born with certain, you know, behaviors, but there are also things that are learned, and there's also things that, you know, you can train yourself to change as well. So
But some people just naturally have those characteristics to thrive and
yeah,
be successful despite their circumstances.
yeah. I
Seems
mean, you
like our
see that.
instructor.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that it seems like our instructor posted a question like that on this last week's discussion board, but since we're
Yeah.
all, was that on everybody's discussion board?
It
'Cause
was
I know
on
we're
ours.
kind of-
It was on mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Behind.
Okay. Because even though we're separated into smaller groups, I wondered if you put the same one. Anyway, it just sounded familiar, like something he just asked.
Yeah, I think.
I don't really know what to add to that though, because
Yeah.
it seemed like for resilience, it was contingent on the family values and then just an individual that happens to thrive because they have those characteristics to be positive and not be drowned out by unfortunate circumstances.
I agree.
Was that our last question?
It was the
I
last
think it
bullet
was.
point.
I think that was our last bullet point. So with this, what do we need to do? Have who's writing it up? I can't remember. Cheyenne. I
Yeah.
think you said you were going to write up our notes.
Yeah.
Can I add one last thing?
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have probably said it earlier. For this last bullet, you know, like you guys were saying, some families are better at coping with like problems and stressful events and stuff. I kind of agree, and you know, looking back in my life before my family was members of the church and stuff, I can see a difference, like how you can deal with stuff now than we did back in the day. And I think it has a lot to do with the gospel as well. You know, not many people have that in their life, so I can't really relate it to everybody. But
Right.
I would like to say that because of the gospel and what we've been taught, you know, in church and what we know, you know, what we know to believe is true, I think it helps a lot families nowadays, like to cope with crisis and stressful events, and even with school, you know, like for me, just like a simple prayer, like to get me through the day or to get me through an exam, it helps me out so much, you know.
I agree.
So
And it talks about that at the beginning of this chapter on how faith, isn't that it made that point at the beginning of chapter 6 on where is it? I'm trying to find it. Where is it? Oh, your belief system.
yeah.
So it really does matter if you have some sort of belief system in anything. It doesn't. Of course, we're probably a little bit biased to the gospel, right? But I think just for instance, like we have a lot of friends that have cancer right now. I don't know why, but it's interesting to see the difference between people that have a belief system and they believe in something higher than themselves. It could be God, it could be something else. Even members of the church or not, if they've got that, you know, higher, that, you know, they believe in a higher power, they seem to do better and feel better and cope with all of this than people that, you know, don't. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, thank you.
And it goes along with our reading too. So perfect.
Right.
Well, we're at our time. Should we talk about anything else, or do you think we covered everything we need to?
I think we're pretty good on what we covered, you know. I mean, I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything else. Or...
I don't think so.
We're good because I got a pretty good set for to write the summary.
Awesome.
Okay. You're fabulous. If you need any help, just email us or text us and we can help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Mhm.
Yeah.
And then,
Thank you, ladies.
yeah, thanks for putting this together, Jesse. It's not an easy task, I don't think. All right. All right,
Thank you,
ladies.
ladies. Okay,
All right, we
bye-bye.
will see you later.
Okay. Bye.
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 Bye.